Unix and Linux shell scripting. This is comes around 16 sessions, Shailesh. Okay, so the course overview, what and how we are going to proceed on this one. This is a course overview. So it is going to be discuss the points about complete all types of shells, and then why we are looking for bash shell. So there are different typical types of shells available, and as you know, Unix is different and Linux is different. So do you have idea what is Unix, what is Linux?
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of different flavors of Unix, right?
Yeah. So Unix is proprietary. It is owned by some companies like Sun Solaris is one Unix, HP Unix, HP UX is one Unix, and EIX, IBM is having its ownership of that. So whereas Linux, it is open source and it is also having proprietary. But most of the Linux that is developed based on the Linus Torvalds, who is given the kernel that is inherited in all of the Linux operating systems. So, but Unix is a parent and Linux is child. From that, it is come out as a child. So most of the features will be same, and the power is much more higher in Unix compared with the Linux, and cheaper. Linux is open source, as you know, that is cheapest one. Okay, so shells, we have a couple of types of shells, and we'll see what are those, and we are going to identify what kind of shell is best suits and what kind of applications where you can apply that one. And also we try to understand the users and groups, permissions, how we can access that one. And then archiving of the some of the logs and how we are going to compress, what are the commands you can use, and what is the best compression commands that you can use in your projects, in your production system. We can also discuss much more deep level of scripting, where it is going to cover about the regular expressions. It could be used with the grep, with the some of the AWK or ACD kind of single liners. Okay, so identifying the processes, as you know, you're going to work on different type of applications like WebLogic, WebSphere, JBoss, or any Java-based application or any services like database is also one of the service. Then you are going to identify that and how do you manage, what are the jobs, how you can control that one. We'll see some of them. And then Linux file system, how it is uh, spread across different Linux operating systems and Unix operating systems. Resource management, as you know, memory, RAM, disk space, and your CPU utilization. These are the most important things when you're talking about you're dealing with the monitoring of your systems. Okay. Then network-based communication, how you are going to do, how you can monitor. That is also important thing to know, and that is also one of the part where you can write some automation scripts to understand and communicate or send files and receive files and do some sort of monitoring as well. Okay.
Okay.
And most of the time we will be using the editors, VI. And if I'm going to use the Linux box as a Ubuntu box, by default VIM is nothing but VI. So
Okay.
other editors also you can use. There are possibilities. Nano is one of the editor that is just like Notepad, and you can use that is also fine. So when you are working with VI, some of um, the complex things, which, for example, if I'm going to have the some 1,000 lines of program is there, and out of that you want to replace, finding some words and replacing, and VI is the best suit for that. Immediately you can do that, and very comfortably you can do that with the single line that is you're going to get at the bottom of the editor.
Okay.
Right. So one of the key objective is you are able to make automations and you are capable of writing of the scripts. That is the end of the complete objective. That is what our intention. Right. So who can do that? Anyone who are beginners, admins, DBAs, WebLogic, WebSphere, any administrator. So from your side, what are your experiences?
So my experience is completely into WebLogic administration, and along with that, Oracle Fusion middleware, like Oracle
Okay.
Identity and Access Management, all those things.
Oh, great.
Right now, I mean, just few months back, I started working on this Red Hat OpenShift administration.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Right. So one of these roles you have already aware of that, and you know what are the things goes on in daily activities. So
Yes.
some of the activities which you might think this is repeated task. This is every time I'm doing. So which I can reduce. And the thing which is lengthy,
Uh-huh.
you may have some command. You have a line of command that is, let's say it is having 120 characters. You
Okay.
want to do that every day whenever you come to the office and you want to run that command. You can make that shorter. That is where automation starts from. That is where your concising part comes up. So you have to identify what are the repetitive tasks, what are the lengthiest things which you want to make shorter. That is what the first steps start from the scripting ideology. Okay, so that is first thing you have to think about. Okay, so as we already aware of that Unix and Linux, what is this operating system? How it is evolving and keep on growing? Where these commands are keep on coming into our scripting part. So when we are talking about Unix operating system, Unix was the world. It started from 1970s onwards. So it's almost 45 years, 45 plus years. It is ongoing. The first intention was the number of users want to use the same system resources. That is what the first intention. So multiple users were connecting to only one CPU, one system.
Mhm.
That is what the first goal, objective they created at the Bell Labs. When we are connecting, the servers might be at one particular data center, and the project is going to be run across multiple locations wherever you are working, your job location. So if I'm working from India, I'm able to connect to the remote machine that is running in the US or UK or some other location. So the same system setup still going on. That's why we are following that evolution process. When we are connecting with the remote system, there are multiple options, choices we have. When we are connecting with the shell, we want to connect with the secure option. And what is the meaning of unsecure? Okay, so if I'm going to have a system, Linux system, I just started in my local PC. Let me show you what I did. Yeah, so this is my machine. So virtual machine, the virtual machine where I can give the uh, Linux box configuration values into one of the file that is called vagrant file. So this is just out of scope, but I'm just giving the idea. What is this? Okay,
Mhm.
so this vagrant file is actually telling that I'm right now in a Windows machine. I want to run a Linux machine, that is Ubuntu. So this Ubuntu box I can get from the internet, from the HashiCorp. So they have published some set of boxes. It's around 600 to 700 boxes. They're freely available, which you can download by just writing one file, plain file. Okay,
Okay.
so this text file actually refers to that one, and I can mention that what is the name of the host name, what is the IP address I can use with this box, and what is the shared drive, and how much memory I can allocate for that one, core CPUs I can use for that one. Okay, so this actually uses two different softwares, Vagrant and Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, so I don't need to run Oracle VirtualBox, but I can connect to this IP address 192.168.33.102 box. I can connect with my PuTTY terminal. So here I'm able to connect. So whenever I run this vagrant up command, I'm able to launch that Linux box. So the Ubuntu Trusty 64 is a box which I have launched. Okay, so the same thing will work for you also when working with the one of the cloud. So this is local within your system. You can make your own box, Vagrant box.
Okay.
Okay, so I am just showing that how many Vagrant boxes I can run. So I'm just running this global status. It is going to tell how many boxes are available in my Windows machine. So how many are running? So you see here, it is running in d:work VM. So currently I'm in that same directory. Okay. So other boxes also running under other different directories, right? So you can run n number of Linux boxes within your laptop from your laptop.
So this Vagrant is something like virtual servers where we
Yeah,
can.
it is a software layer, and that will use the Oracle VirtualBox. Oracle VirtualBox software should be there, and that should be used as a provider. Okay, so when I am just connecting, how I am going to connect? So when I am going to use this PuTTY, this PuTTY terminal is working with a host name and a port number, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
there are different type of connection types: raw, telnet, or login, SSH, serial. These are the different options. But usually what we are going to use SSH, that is a secure shell. SH means shell.
Yeah.
So we are connecting to a shell. Without shell, nothing will work. So whenever your system is loaded, whenever your Linux box is created, first thing is going to run this process, SSHD. It's a daemon process. So you can just check that ps-ef grep and SSH. So you can see that SSHD is already running. So because this service is running, you can connect to this box, that IP address and port number. Same thing, if I want to connect with the telnet, there is no service running. You see, telnet is one of the option, but I
Okay.
cannot connect. If I'm trying to open, it is saying connection refused because the service is not available. The shell is not accessible. Remote box is available, that IP address is running, existing, but that service is not in execution state. So this SSH is in execution state. That's why we are able to connect. SSH client is connecting. PuTTY is one of the SSH client. Got it? Okay.
Got it.
So the same concept which is initially started, the same thing is keep on going, and we still connecting with the same concept. So Unix operating system built with multiple layers. The first layer, internal layer, that is hardware. That hardware is having a wrapper Unix kernel that is connecting with the machine language internally, that will be communicating with the wires and cables, whatever hardware is. The binary communication, it is going to work, and then it is going to give you the services from the kernel. So just now SSH we are able to access, that is nothing but one type of service. Okay, so likewise we can have multiple services, and you can see whenever you just see ps-ef, all the processes are running. If I'm just saying ps-l, I'm just seeing only shell. Which shell we are connected? We are connected to bash shell. If I'm going to say ps-e, e means everything. We got
Okay.
so many processes, and out of that, some of them are connected with TTY. Some of the processes, you can see TTY4, TTY5, some numbers are there, and it is initialized with GETTY. Getty is one of the internal mediator or command layer between your kernel and user. Okay, so whenever you just open a VMware or you go to a real Linux Red Hat system or something, there you just right click on the screen and you are going to terminal. That is nothing but TTY, right? So you are getting a terminal. That terminal is able to accept your commands. When it is accepting your commands, it is taking your commands, right? So user is able to give the commands to the command layer. This command layer is nothing but that getty. Okay,
Okay.
the getty is always ready state. And how it is going to be ready? It is always interact with the kernel at the backend, and it is always work with the set of standard system calls. So system calls, what is system calls, how it is going to work, that we'll discuss when we come to the system communication or internal communication, how it is going to happen. Okay, so there are some set of limited number of commands. Those are called system calls. Each command, each function, let's say we are just given the PS command. The PS is one command which user can read, type. We are able to give in English, but actually internally it is going to work with some internal commands. So that internal commands, the process communication will happen with the system calls. Okay,
Okay.
so we'll see in deeper level also about that one. Okay. So this is little bit hierarchy, how it is Unix UNICS first initially started in 1969. Then now the different types of Unix flavors are there, and biggest chart is there, but right now I'm just skipping that one. So don't worry about that one. Okay, so this Tony, just I'm pricing uh, to this slide. So Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie, they were worked in Bell Labs, and they started building this Unix Multics, different names they have given in the beginning. The objective is to run some commands by multiple users on one particular system by connecting different terminals, keyboards. The connector will be one wire. So that is what their idea when they started. Okay, so Dennis Ritchie developed a separate language, simple, easiest language, that is C language, C programming. So it is both, it can communicate the machine dependent code, and that will talk to the all hardware parts as well. That's why still C is a base for most of the things, right? The evolution is changed from proprietary things, owning everything by one of the company, that is changed. Richard Stallman is one of the member in Sun operating system creation. Sun Solaris is the strongest operating system, fastest operating system in Unix, multi-programming operating system. So he came out and he developed a separate community, saying that we should not hold the knowledge of the software or developing process So Richard Stallman is the first person who opened and said that open sourcing should be started.
Okay.
So after that, Linus Travalda, Linus Travalda is from Netherlands. He is in Europe. He developed the college project as a Linux. Okay, so that kernel is inherited by most of the Linux operating systems. So still he is the owner of the Linux community. That separate community is now grown up, and it is grown for the containerization. Docker, CNCF is a biggest community evolving now. Cloud supporting networking, whatever we need, that is coming up with a huge high availability and without any failure. We are able to manage with Kubernetes and many more technologies which are in open source. All of them are called uh, CNCF. CNCF is the biggest community that is controlling all containerization, Dockerization, and Kubernetes and DevOps tools. They are standardizing most of the tools because a lot of people are developing their own type of DevOps tools. And what need to be adopted, what is correct one, what is wrong, nobody knows. So this CNCF is standardizing all of them, and that is owned by Linux Foundation. So Linux Foundation is on still managed by Linus Travalda. Okay, so these are the basics, and then the flavors. As you know, Unix and Linux both are flavors. As you know, Unix Multics is a actual root. Many types of flavors are there, but I think standard market-based which are still in commercial, what we are seeing, that is AIX and Sun Solaris HPUX. These are the strongest Unix, and the strongest Linux is Red Hat. Red Hat is having some flavors, CentOS and Fedora. And Debian is another flavor, another kernel inherited from the Linux. So Debian is having different flavors, and Red Hat is a different kind of kernel architecture internal. Okay, so Ubuntu is one of the child type of Debian packaging systems which we are going to use. Okay, so that is another hierarchy which we can elaborate in next. So when we are talking about virtualization, there are a lot of technologies evolving right now. So Oracle is having VirtualBox. Previously, it is open source that is developed by Sun Systems. Sun System developed this VirtualBox. Now it is owned by Oracle, so, but still it is open source. VMware, as you know, VMware it is grown up and it is most commercial, successful virtualization software or cloud private cloud creators. VMware. Vagrant. Vagrant is just now, as I told you, it is uses the providers either VMware or VirtualBox. It is going to use, and another technology called Parallels. So Packers is one of the multiple layered operating systems or screen by screen. How we are going to see. Similarly, you can have n number of types of operating systems running on same system, same hardware setup. So that is another software. It is going to integrate with the Vagrant. Docker. Docker is another container-based technology, smallest size of operating system. All these are virtualization concepts are coming because of one common problem solutions. The problem is testing team says that the work, that application functionality which they want to test, that is not working. Whenever developer says that the same thing is working in my system. So my system, it is working. Another system, it is not working. Then entire system itself, you can pack that one, and you don't need to change. You don't need to install any other thing. For example, if you are going to see an application that is going to have the 4 layers, let us say, operating system, its dependent libraries, and then you are going to install some softwares like application server, Tomcat or WebLogic, JBoss, something like that. On top of it, the Java application or any application that is gives the web accessibility. Backend, again, database. So these are the different components you need to install. Then the application is running. Otherwise, it is not running. So these layers, these components, one system you are created, that you pack it, that you call it as a container, and you send it wherever you want. You want to send it to functional testing team, they will test. Load testing team, they will test. Unit user acceptance test, they will test. So everywhere you can pack, and they will have multiple instances of that one, that is nothing but containers. These containers you can ship to anywhere. Okay, so that concept, that is a solution given by Docker. So these are all solutions which are evolving the virtualization. Okay, why Unix? Why not Windows? So this is one simple concept, comparisons. Long back, it is given in PC Maxine. Unix is having lot of capabilities. Unix, Linux, and FreeBSD. All these are flavors towards Linux. So when it is counted, it is a maximum used as a servers or enterprise applications are running on top of these machines. Solaris, Linux, FreeBSD servers. Whereas on Windows and other systems, they are error or they can be attacked by hackers at any time, and they can be impacted any moment. So if you take Linux system, there could be 100 plus viruses, whereas Windows network servers, they can have some 3,000 to 5,000 range of viruses are defined, and they are still working on resolving them. So that is a most important point why people are looking towards this Unix and Linux operating systems. Okay, so that is a point which we can note it. Uh, so these are the features why Unix and Linux are better. So most of the Linux systems, what we are going to use, it is text-based processing systems. We are not using mouse and gadgets, which are loads much more on the CPU. So they want to do everything with simple text. That's why the commands, CLIs, even Docker, Vagrant, all these are CLIs now, because they are smallest text files, and the file size, the operating system is also gone very smaller, tiny sizes. So program also going very shorter. You are going to compare with the applications which are running on the Java, it might be 300, 400 lines. The same thing if you see in the Python or scripting languages, it will be 10 to 15 lines. So the size is gradually decreasing when you're working with the CLIs. It is easy, simple to use. The interface is very comfortable. When you're working with the Unix, Linux shells, these are all written in C languages, and some of them are much more older languages also. So it is developed by Dennis Ritchie, and it is written in high level language that is human readable, and machine can read binary kind of data as well. So some of the drivers also developed. this one. So this is how. So the communication between the systems, transparent and users to user communication, a user to user isolation is also given very simple, easy to use in Unix and Linux systems.
Okay.
So did you ever created users in Linux?
What is that, Paul? I didn't create any users.
User, um, okay. So whenever you just logged into a user, right now I logged in with the Vagrant user.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if I want to create a user, I should be a super user. That means Linux administrator.
Correct.
So right now I'm a root user now, right? So if you want to use some simple commands, you can create your user. Okay. So user add is a command that will add a user to the existing operating system, Linux system. Okay. So I'm just creating one user, let's say WL admin. So it is added. This user is added. Whenever you add a user, what are the things you want to add? You need some set of privileges. So you want to create a directory that where the user can work on. Okay. So I just want to create one directory. And whenever I'm going to create a directory, I want to give a path, that full path. Okay. So here I want to create in home/wl admin. This is the directory I want to create. Okay. This directory I want to use as a home directory. So whenever you go to a system, Linux system administrator is going to give this. And whenever you land, you will be landing into home directory and or some other directory which you want to, you can mention that. That one you can define user mod. Means you are modifying the user. So what do you want to modify? You want to modify the directory, home directory. So this is the directory I want to set for what? For WL admin. Okay, so user has this one already, it is existing, that's why it is saying no changes. So where I can check that one, etc PASSWD, that will gives all users information. In this one, the first user you see root user, then
Right.
all the programs which are going to be run in the background, daemon user is there. So there are some 25 to some number of users will be automatically created when system is started. Okay, the bottom one is just now what we have. So home directory is existing here, but this user is not having any shell. If you see the Vagrant user is having home directory home/Vagrant, but it is having a shell, bash shell. So now I want to add a shell to the existing user. User mod -s indicates the shell. This is the shell I want to use, and for home WL admin. That is done. Then I can check this file content, last 10 lines. Okay, so this file content, last 10 lines, tail command I have used, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to get this. Previously it is not assigned, now it is got it. Now, this is fine, but I cannot use this WL admin because it is not having a password. Let me just duplicate, connect WL admin. So what should I give password? If I press enter, I'm getting access denied. Okay.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
need to give a password for this one. Password command, need to set WL admin password. I just set password, password welcome one. So I'm able to log in. So these are the basic requirements. One user is
So,
created.
so whatever the user created by you, WL admin. So if we don't have that bash over there, then we can't run the scripts with that user. Is that mean?
Yes, yes, absolutely. You cannot do any command because kernel can communicate with the shell. User WL admin and the kernel, you want to give a command like ls command, this command should work, right? So this ls command or pwd command or any command, whatever you are giving, this command, user command line, command layer will be taking that one, but there should be a mediator. That mediator is shell. The mediator will take that shell will be taking that and giving to the kernel. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
the kernel communicate with the user only when you have a shell. So the user shell should be assigned, and the most important thing in the VI editor, VI, VIM, I'll just give some set of commands which you can remember. Okay, so I'm just giving a test one simple text file. Okay, so if I want to insert, first I need to press I for insert. Okay, so 2 times I, then I'm going to get new line, another line. So I have entered 3 lines. If I want to enter a line before another line, I can press Shift O. Then I got an insert mode, and I can enter another new text, whatever text. Okay, so if I press Escape again, I can go between the text insert line and another line. So in between go means another insert mode option again, and I can insert new line.
Which
Okay.
is that
This way,
shift O is to enter the lines between two lines. Is that the one?
shift O will be the previous line,
Okay.
normal O will be the next line,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
will be in the current line. Okay. So shift O is capital O, right? So that will be going to the before
Okay.
line. O will be next line.
Okay.
E will be current line and current position, current cursor.
Now, when we give that I as an insert mode,
Yeah,
so then we start typing the things.
yeah,
I understood the capital O will move to the before line and small o will go to the next line. So what is this I current line, current cursor? I mean, anyways, we will be in the current line, right? So what will that makes?
okay. So right now I am pressing escape now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So right now I move the cursor here, next line. In
Okay.
between, my cursor position is this line. Okay, let me put the line number also. SENU
No, no,
gives
no.
line numbers.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm in the sixth line. My current position, you understood, right? Where I
Yeah,
am in
yeah.
between the next T and L. I'm there. So if I
Mhm.
press I, now I can type. Okay. If I press escape, I cannot type anything. Okay. So if you want to undo what you have typed, escape U. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So
So,
whenever you have some
again,
symbols,
I
uh,
current line, current cursor is nothing but insert. Wherever a cursor is there, it will start. Once we insert and start typing, it will go with that line.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
A for append. Append means end of the line.
Okay.
Okay. And right now you are at some word. Okay. So after the word you want something, and cursor after that, cursor after you want to insert, then use the A. Okay. DD for delete line,
Mm-hmm.
and D escape key. DW for delete word. Okay, so word jump we can use W
Okay.
jump word. D for backward jump word. Okay, so these are the most easiest things you can do. So I'm just using W, jumping word. B, going back,
Okay.
right?
What is that small a? Can you show practically the small a thing?
Small a. Okay, right now I'm at, I'm at D.
Mm-hmm.
I want to type after D. So now if I press I,
Mm-hmm.
the I will be typing whenever I want to insert there itself. Means in place of D, I want to do something I.
Mm-hmm.
After D, I want to type something, then A. So this is A now. I can type here.
Okay. So do we need to give this a after typing I or directly a?
No, only one character will be. So all these are insert operations. A, capital A, I, capital I.
Okay.
Four,
Instead of I,
four
we are
things.
just giving small a, so it will move our cursor next to the cursor.
Yes.
Got it. Got it.
Okay. So I, capital I also works in the same way. So sometimes if you are not given in proper sequence, then you will be getting the some alphabets like this, right?
Okay.
So you have inserted, you have deleted something, then okay. So U for undo, then delete lines, delete for delete line. Got the previous one. Okay, O for next line, I can insert. This is also next line insert. So insert options, we have 6 options.
Mm-hmm.
O, capital O, I, capital I, A, and capital
Okay. Okay.
A, right? So these are all options what we have seen. Insert text options I have given here. A, I, O, sir. And right now, wherever you are typing, the cursor mode, insert mode, we have bottom line mode, right? Whenever I want to set this line number, I have given colon, right? This one, let me put escape, undo. Okay. So here, if I want to come to the bottom of the this VI editor, colon, I'm getting to the bottom of the line, and I can go to any line now. If I want to go to 10th line, I just type 10. The cursor go to the 10th line.
Okay.
Similarly, I want to go to the next word. Where is next? It is going to the next word from the top. The first time, wherever next is coming, there it is going. For example, delete first word. Next, if you want to go N, you have to type N. It will go to the next. Capital N, it will go to the previously searched word.
Okay.
Okay, right. So line, once again, I'm searching line. I'm pressing capital N. It is going back, back, back. Okay, so like that, you can use the navigation. Okay, bottom line, what we have done. Okay, so you can also do this find a word and substitute. So wherever line is there, I just want to give row. Okay, so this is the replacement. Wherever line is there, it is automatically changed to row.
Okay.
Got it? All the words which are having line is done. So all at a time it is happened one action. So you can just say you are in escape mode only. So right now I'm just pressing U. It is automatically coming back to previous.
Okay. Okay.
So this is happening, for example, uh, another line, new line. Okay, so I'm just trying how to replace. Got the point? Bottom line command.
Yeah.
Yes, is for substitute. Okay, I want to substitute line row. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, all the line first occurrences will be replaced. Second occurrence, third occurrence is not changed. You see the line number 2?
So what does that mean? So in a so
In a
only one
line,
line will be.
no. All the lines it is changing. Here it is
Uh-huh.
changed. Here it is changed. But in the line number 2, you see, first time line occurred, that is changing here.
Got it. So second occurrence, third
Second
occurrence won't
occurrence
get
is
changed.
not changing. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just undo. Okay. Now again, you want to do for all G for global. Even second, third occurrence also you want to replace.
Okay.
Done.
Okay. And
G,
right now we are in escape mode, right? Not a escape mode.
yeah. So
Okay.
from insert mode means the cursor is in this 1 to 3 line numbers. Cursor
Correct.
will be displaying here. Okay. So whenever you press colon, it is going to be command mode, bottom line mode. Bottom line mode. When it is in bottom line mode, you can do multiple things. You can move the cursor anywhere, jump, uh, search, delete, cut, paste. All these things are commands. So
Mhm.
these commands you can apply there. So reading, writing files, you want to save something, you want to come out from this one. All these are command bottom line modes, which are not doing anything onto the text. So these lines right now it is there. What we are given percentage yes and it is searching slash it is searching in the text. But when you are going to say colon x, it will save and exit. Cannot open file for writing. This is interesting. This is not saving this file. Why? I don't have permissions to write.
Okay.
So root, what we have given, let me just tell -1. Uh, you see, uh, this file home directory. I'm saying -L, who's the owner? Okay, take this WL admin. Who's the owner? WL admin is not owner for this directory, right?
Root is on.
Root
Okay.
user is the owner. That's why it is not allowing us to write. Ch what is the user? WL admin :WL admin. The folder that's sorry. We are in because we have to go to home and this done. Now try to save and exit. Work. Okay. You can confirm that why it is saving now.
So whatever the users we are creating will get stored in under home, right? Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So that
Under
will store again as a directory. I mean, that
yeah,
will create.
yeah, one direct.
So any user we create, it will create it as a directory along with the user.
Correct, correct.
And for that user, whatever the user we are using to create a new user will get created with the current login user, right? That's what happened here. So we try to
Yeah,
create a WL admin with root.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
so
It
so
will
after the
automatically go to the direct.
correct.
But
So
it's
after
going to have permissions, then only it is able to create the file. Otherwise, you cannot.
okay, once
Okay.
we create a
So
user again, we even need to change the ownership of that directory. That's when we can start creating files
first
actually.
time you have to take care of that one. First time user created, then you have to give the full permission to the owning of the directory.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So right now I'm just going to the 10th line. Okay. Adding. I want to add new text here. Okay. So now whenever I press colon, then W, it is saved. The file is saved. This test.txt file is saved. Okay, you can see
Mm-hmm.
that file WL admin, that one test. So whatever I have added in the 10th line, that is added in. So W means write and the cursor, the file via editor still in open mode. Okay, WQ means save and quit. Instead of giving two, you can just say X, save and exit. Okay, so you can say WQ. It is same. Okay,
WQ or X, both are same.
both are doing the same activity. Write and quit. Save and quit.
And
Save and exit. Yeah.
so for save and exit, we will just give X.
Yeah. Suppose you open this file and you try to insert something. Uh, this line you have added and you don't want to save that one. You want to simply come out of the file. When you say quit, it is asking you something changed. Last change.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to save. Then previous changes you want to save, override, then you have to give exclamatory mark. Why we are giving exclamatory mark? You understood, right?
Yeah, actually, I was about to ask. We usually do like after saving the file. I mean,
Ah,
after doing this VI things, we'll do WQ exclamatory mark. So
that
in
is
that case,
wrong.
that was not needed, right?
Not necessary.
But that won't impact anything. Even if you give the exclamatory also, it doesn't matter in that case.
So you should understand the matter here. Exclamatory mark, why you are giving.
Yeah,
Overwriting
yeah, I
is
got it now. So
required, then only you have to give exclamatory mark. Overwriting, when you are going to give, two users are accessing the same file.
same file.
Sometimes you are having common share folder. In that case, you are
Mhm.
going to use exclamatory mark. Otherwise, it is not required. You are the owner of the file, then you should not give the exclamatory mark. Okay, so that is the important point. All right. One more thing related to file. You are in the VI editor. You want to check something in the command prompt. Temporarily, you want to go to the this command prompt. So let me say here, I am just doing that ls. Then when I press enter again, I'm back to the VI editor. Again continue. Suppose you want to get the path, just give the exclamatory mark pwd. You will get the path, you copy the path, and you are going to use that in the script. Just save that one. Like that, temporarily you can come out from the VI editor and do some stuff in the command line. One command you can execute and go back to your VI editor.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, okay.
that is all about VI editor.
So do you have the material kind of thing for all these operations? Any?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
You can have that. So you first subscribe to the Vybhava Technologies YouTube channel. You will be
Uh-huh.
getting
Okay.
6 videos on VI editor.
Oh, okay, okay.
Only VI
Sure.
editor, different commands, how to use, what to use, all those in detail it is given. Okay?
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
these are all
okay.
different editors which you can use. for writing your scripts. Okay,
Okay.
so VIO itself, all the keyboard keys are your power. So if you know how to use which key where, each one is having a meaning. So sometimes this cheat sheet will be printed and put into your desktop, uh, the desk aside. So that will be easy
Mm-hmm.
to just check and use that command. Once you use to, then it will be very, very easy. So that is there. Okay. So shell, how it is going to interact, where it is talking, what type of shells we have. Okay. So hardware, as you know, hardware, CPU, hard disk, RAM, all these are
Mm-hmm.
hardware. These are all interacts with the kernel with the some device drivers. And as I told you, there are some system calls. System calls will be done by your uh, interface, which is talking to the shell. Shell will be taking the commands, giving to the mediator, a linker, and a compiler. So your script will be interpreted. Shell script, KSH, SH, CSH, bash, like that. There are some shells are there, which are internal. If they are built with one of the language, that language will be having some libraries. Libraries talks with the system calls. System calls read, write, open, close, fork, wait, exec. These are the system. Only these limited. These are the fixed commands.
So,
Entire commands, English language, whatever you are giving, that will be converted and given with this system calls. Everything will be given with this 6 different commands, and kernel will understand and open. For example, you want to store a file.
mm-hmm.
Just now we have opened test.txt file.
Yeah.
Open command will be opening. After where it is, how it is, the kernel will be checking that the file will be stored into hard disk. Hard disk, if you want to open, there is a device driver. Device driver will be talking to the kernel. It is open command, system call. So it is opening. After opening, what it has to do? You have some certain changes, it will wait for that. So wait is there. Wait is another system call. Once wait is completed, you said colon X. Colon X means save.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
save will be working with write. So some text you have typed, that text is going to the hard disk. So write command will take that one, store into the hard disk. So how many commands we have seen now? System calls.
It's like
We have
open, right?
seen open, write, wait.
Say,
Okay.
wait, say.
All
Okay.
these are the process are completed, then close. That file will should be closed.
Okay.
So
Okay.
all these system calls working for you. For any operation, it will be same. For each one, you are going to have some more higher level devices, drivers will be keep working with the kernel.
Okay. So what are, so for example, we are giving a grep command and it will, that input will go to system calls using compiler.
Yes, grep is one of the internal one function that may be
Mhm.
written in C program, and internally again it will cause one of the system call and to get that one. So grep means what? You want to get some text from what? From one file. So you have to open a file. You have to check that it is going to check, read that file. Read operation will happen whenever you are going to do grep. Once it is
Okay.
done, then it is going to do repeated task, read, read, read. So many lines are having so and so text. Then it is returning all of them right. Where it is writing? Onto the standard output on your screen. You are going to get.
But so this grep command, when we enter grep command, this compilers will communicating with the system calls, right? It was compiling or mediating, converting to
No, no,
the system call.
compilation already done. Long back it will be compiled and ready to use. Execution will be happens. All compiled programs will be available as a commands.
Okay, okay. So what is this shell was doing between these application programs? What are the grep between grep and compiler? This shell was doing, right? So the
Shell is
shell
a mediator actually taking your command. Grep command you are giving, where you are giving, you are typing in keyboard.
keyboard. Yeah.
So keyboard is taking the command where it is goes. It should go onto the screen first so that you will be confirmed. Yeah, whatever you typed, it is correct. So first it is showing on the screen. Then it is that TTY is showing. Then it is going to shell. So shell knows where it has to send. It is sending that to the system calls. Then system calls will take that one to kernel.
Got it.
So user level application programs. The user level you may have any command, pi command, whatever command, date command, sort of. So that commands will be taken and pass over to the backend. The backside is your interfaces, programming language libraries, linkers. That is going to take the system calls. Okay.
Okay.
How shell will be interactive. I think you got some overall high level idea, but I'm not
Yeah.
saying complete idea, but you might
Yeah, I
get some
got it.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So kernel, what is kernel? Why you are using kernel? Kernel is a core part of any operating system. Even Windows is also having its own core, but Unix core is a very tough to break. Unix core is tough because lot of layers. Yeah, just now we have seen so many layer by layer, circle by circle, circle by circle. So kernel is uh, overlapped with so many other layers. So you cannot crack the Unix system as Windows system easy.
Okay.
So the system made the shell concept is in Unix with a separate standardization. That standardization is called POSIX. Okay, POSIX is one standard to maintain different types of shells, the wrappers. Okay, so when they are interacting with the kernel, they are going to work with the multiple commands. Huge number of these system calls will be working internally, and then it is going to work with the libraries, assembly languages, and machine languages internally, communicating to hardware, and then it is going to give the output. Okay.
So what is that POSIX you told?
POSIX is a standard for the wrapping up the shell. You know, just now we have seen multiple shells, SH, KSH, bash, right?
Correct.
Just four shells if you take. These four shells, how they should work, how they should interact, that standards are given by POSIX. So the same standard is asked to Microsoft, then they rejected that. We don't take
Oh,
POSIX standards. That's why in Windows we don't have shell.
okay. Now, why I'm
Shell
asking is,
recently introduced. That too, after so many years, they are backward. Now they started PowerShell.
okay, okay. Now, why I'm asking is in WebLogic we have like a POSIX threads, right? POSIX.
Correct, correct. So that threads will interact with the shell.
Okay, okay.
So when they are interact with exec system call, that POSIX thread will be working for you.
Okay, okay.
So the performance levels will be controlled with your kernel, and the kernel actually deals with different applications, not only one application. On one Linux system, you can run database. On the same system, you can run WebLogic. On the same system, you can run some other Apache or something, OHS. Because the capabilities are, the resources are available, then you can run. So kernel is capable of dealing with all of them. Different applications it can deal, and it can handle all the devices as well. Hard disk, mouse, keyboard, all these are different devices. You can this kernel can interact with them because the device drivers are able to talk to the kernel. Okay, the Unix kernel is built, the Unix which you are going to see Sun Solaris, that is multi-processor kernel. So if you see Linux kernel is a single user, which you are going to have multi-user concept, but it is processor wise, how many it is going to support? 4, 8 octa-core. That is a count it is able to handle. But Sun Solaris is much more faster. Parallel processing is allowed in that.
Okay.
Okay. Kernel, what does it do? Kernel actually manages your memory, and uh, at a time you got 4 different requests. Database is working, WebLogic is working, Apache is also working, and your operating system, entire operating system is also working. All these are managed automatically by kernel. Whenever CPU is required to whom, that is going to schedule accordingly. And whenever it is idle, CPU is free, then it is going to give to another one. Okay, so that process management automatically scheduled by kernel. File management on the disk system, how you are going to manage. Just now we have seen the user is created, the file is not able to store. Security is there. So who is owning, who can store? That is automatically managed, that is controlled by the operating system kernel. Interrupts. Some errors are coming whenever you got some issue, the system related errors that will be handled, and it will be reported in English so that we can understand what is happening, so that we can control that thing. Okay, so interrupts, the kill command, we are going to interrupt the process. Any process, for WebLogic process, you want to give kill -3, then it is going to interrupt, then it is going to give a snapshot what process is doing. Input output services, anything which you are giving in the keyboard, that is input. Anything you are going to see on the screen terminal, that is output service. It is initiated, it is controlled completely by your kernel, operating system kernel. The system accounting, who is doing what? Right now, WL admin logged in, background user is logged in, and root user is logged in. What they are doing? Everything is managed, controlled, stored in the logs. Separate logs, system logs are maintained. That is all done by kernel. Okay, so all these functionalities are maintained by kernel. Memory, process, file, input, output, interrupt management, system accounting. All this done by kernel, operating system kernel.
Okay.
So on top of it, shell is there. So shell will interact with kernel, and you can get all those functionalities, whatever way you want to manage. You can get the outputs, and you can work with the files. You can work with the utilities. You can work with the applications. So that is the main activity which you can do with the shell. Okay, so these are all different reference books, but anyway, orally books are best books. Which if you have any Kindle or something, you can use that and see. Corn shell is a fastest shell. Bash shell is the most widely used Linux shell. Z shell is the strongest shell compared with all other shells. Okay, Z shell is in Solaris systems or exologic systems, or
Okay.
if for the latest technologies, the Docker containerization, they are also using Z shell for some part of the activities.
Okay.
So each shell is having some significance. Bash is open source, GNU Bash. GNU, anybody can add any function. That's why it is not that much reliable, but it is widely used. Any Linux user, they are using. But KSH proprietary. AIX, HPUX, your Solaris using Corn shells. Okay, so these each one is having its own capabilities and requirements. So any shell, the common thing is they are interacts with the kernel. They can do all the uh, inputs and interactions with the kernel and do the your task commission.
Okay. So this bash will be there in all the Linux operating systems, right? So for example, AX.
Yes, some of the operating systems they are restricting not to use in AIX, not to use in Solaris like that.
So how to check which shell they have in the box?
I think it is there like ls-l shell. What are the shells available?
Okay, okay. Bash.
So if you have the virtual box, okay. Otherwise, you can also use the online shells. You just type Linux zoo.net, you will be getting online shell.
Okay,
And
can we try? I mean, can we try and get a box now so that it will be? Or else can I use that Vagrant, whatever you were saying before?
yeah,
Something
sure,
like
sure, Shailesh, you can do that. You
that.
just download Vagrant, you can download Oracle VirtualBox. Then you need to put the file. I'll just show you where you can get that one sample. Let me
Or
just-
else by tomorrow I'll do one thing, like I'll just download that Oracle VirtualBox and Vagrant.
Yeah, we will set up on your system then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay then.
Okay then. Yeah,
So
so
when will
I'm
be the
done.
next class? I mean timings. What will be the timings, Pawan?
Um,
So I'm in EST and I need to start around 6:30 a.m. in morning.
ah, okay.
So
So
I
till
mean
what
I
time?
have long commute actually. So that's why.
Shailaja will.
Okay.